Welcome to the 902 podcast, the official podcast of the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm Captain John Vick, and I want to thank you for listening. This podcast will give you an inside look at LSO, with topics and guests to discuss public safety issues impacting Lancaster County. Be sure to subscribe for highlights on news, cases, and the people working for you at LSO. You can also follow us across social media at LSO Nebraska on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Hey, welcome to the 902 podcast. It's Christmas time at LSO.
It is.
We're getting down to the wire.
Getting down to the wire.
We've Chief Deputy Houchin's here today. Hi, Ben.
Well, good morning.
Yeah, we're trying to fit a whole bunch of work into a pretty short work week with Christmas being on a Wednesday.
Yeah, kind of. It's a hard day to have Christmas, I think, but the good thing is I think a lot of people are taking time off before it or after it, so there'll be a nice long weekend for some folks.
Sergeant Drew Bolzer's here today. Thanks for coming back on the show, Drew.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
And Sara Sump's here as well.
Hello.
We wanted to talk about, a number of things. Drew, we're going to talk about drones in a little bit. We'll talk both of you about hiring, but before we do that, we just wanted to give a little behind the scenes look to people. I mean, most offices do different Christmas traditions and things like that, holiday traditions, and we are no different here. I was telling Drew and Sara in the hallway that I think I'm gonna have to have like a sugar detox until like Easter at this point.
But you have to start it after the holidays.
Well,
you can't start it now.
Yeah, I mean,
It's still in effect.
I don't have much of a choice. I mean, we're just we're in it to win it now.
Yeah.
So we're. There's more treats to be had. Drew, you made rosettes.
I did. Yep.
I think you and my mom are like the only two people that I know of in Lincoln that make rosettes. So
It's not very common. It's I grew up in a very German household, and
yeah,
both my grandparents made them. And as a kid, anything with powdered sugar on it's fantastic. So
right.
I learned to love them, and then I cooked them when I was in high school, and then when they both passed away, I got all their stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm just carrying on the tradition.
that's awesome. Ours are like a Scandinavian kind of thing, but the one iron was still the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you like the rosettes, Sara?
I did. They were delicious.
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to stay away from all that.
See, Ben's been saying no.
Yes.
So he's had more willpower than me, apparently. So we had the rosettes were one of many items over at the hot chocolate bar.
Yeah. the hot
that
chocolate
Amanda
bar today.
sent out. That was quite the spread. So had one of those, and we did food day.
Yes.
Food fest.
Food Fest
I'm sorry.
2024.
Food fest.
Yeah.
It was pretty well attended this time.
It was well attended. It's a fun time to get kind of our LSO family together, have a big meal, invite our retirees if they're able to come. It's fun. They email me back and say, "Oh, I'm busy," or "Oh, thanks for the invite." And so, and some are able to show up. And so it's fun to kind of have a big turkey and ham and then all of the fun.
Potluck stuff.
Yes, potluck stuff. This year was heavy on desserts, which is never a bad thing, but I took home a lot of mashed potatoes.
That's probably where the sweets thing started. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Ben, you made ham.
Well, kind of.
Kind of made ham.
I had some assistance, but yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And you made it down the stairs with the roaster and didn't pull the Kevin.
Yes.
And dump the soup.
Have it all over the place. It was a couple of close calls, but I did make it down. That's right. Yeah.
No, there was lots of good stuff last week, so that's awesome. We've been doing we had some anonymous donors. This has gone on a couple of years now. Random acts of kindness.
Yes.
So Ben, how does that work?
Well, this anonymous, I don't know if it's a male or female. We did a press conference today on it and let the public know that this was going on. So I got those on Wednesday. They're about 35 envelopes, and each one has a $20 bill in it.
Yeah.
And I handed them out to the captains and to distribute to their deputies. And the only real big thing that the anonymous person says, if you see a act of kindness, or if somebody you see needs maybe a little bit of a hand up in the holiday time, to go ahead and give it. And the deputies really enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
Again, this is the second year of doing it, and kind of gives the deputies some joy to, sometimes we don't always show up on the best situations. And, so this is a little bit different way that they can bring some joy to somebody.
Yeah, and I think it was a public defender one time that told me that when the cops show up, they're usually not there to give you an award.
Right.
But this is a way to, just give a little gifts, give somebody a little lift from somebody they might not expect to be getting a lift from.
Yeah, I know. We heard a story of a gentleman that received one and then came back in and gave the person a hug and said, "Thank you so much. Like, you made my day." And so it's stuff like that we don't always get to hear all the stories, but it's nice to know that when you see a police officer or sheriff's deputy, it's not always a negative thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just really cool that we've got, people in the Lincoln Lancaster County community that are generous enough to make something like that happen. But it certainly helps, law enforcement citizen interactions and relations too, when we can do something cool like that. And I sent several of them out in the patrol division, and just mentioned to my guys too that it's also just good to kind of remember our humanity a little bit, and just that idea of giving a gift with no expectation of getting something in return. That's kind of the the whole holiday season, holiday spirit stuff. So yeah, really cool that we were able to do that again. So
And
yeah,
it's
and
nice.
whoever, hopefully they listen to us, and who's giving out that donation. And I just like to say, hey, thank you, whoever it is, because it is nice and it does help us, and I'm sure it makes them feel good that they're able to do that and kind of give back in that way.
Yeah, and I was going to say, it's nice. Our partners over at LPD are doing something similar with the Malone Center. And so it's nice to be able to get it out into the county as well, because sometimes I think our folks out in the county feel a little forgotten. So it's nice to get some holiday cheer out there too.
yeah, definitely. And it's just a little lift for somebody out there, and certainly a time of year people can use it. So we're coming into, the holiday season with staffing and things like that. We've got a grant going on right now. So the Nebraska Office of Highway Safety approved a mini grant that's the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over grant. And we've already had deputies, in addition to our normal staffing levels, but we've had other deputies working the weekends. They'll be working all the way from, it started on December 20th, so this last Friday, and it'll run through to January 1st. But we've got extra deputies that are on the road looking for aggressive, impaired, distracted drivers, and just trying to keep the roads safe for everybody that's traveling around the holiday season. It's a busy time of year for that. But I know we've got a couple DREs that are out there trying to get extra evaluations for drug drivers too. So
I'm sorry, what's a DRE?
yeah, drug recognition expert. Thanks Sarah, for helping me remember my acronym.
Right.
Your cop talk. I get accused of that all the
We
time
have a
too.
lot of alphabet soup, but not everybody eats our soup.
This is why we need like a little translator legend on our episodes. But drug recognition experts out and about. We just had deputies this last weekend, and we had a fatal crash, unfortunately, tragically out east of town. We had some of the grant deputies helping out on that. I know Deputy Shores had somebody. We didn't chase him, thankfully, through downtown Lincoln, but somebody that ran from him, and I think they've got an idea who that person might be. So we'll hopefully get that cleared up soon. But yeah, good to have deputies out on the road and taking care of those types of drivers, so other people can get and go where they need to.
Yeah, this time of year, there's a lot of parties, family gatherings, and sometimes there's some partaking in beverages. And, we just ask find somebody who's sober or to take a taxi, get one of the riding.
Uber, Lyft, super easy to get a sober ride home now.
And,
I think when it gets closer to the new year, too, AAA will do their tow and go as a very last resort. So
Yep. Different options. I think there's a couple law firms that do some taxi rideshare type of stuff, and some proactivity. Making a plan, making sure you're not putting yourself in a bad position that's ultimately going to put somebody else in a bad position. But number one thing we can do to protect ourselves, our family, wear your seatbelt, and wherever you're going this holiday season, make sure that you're doing that too, because we don't want to have any extra empty seats at the Christmas table this year. So.
Yeah, talking about, it hasn't felt like Christmas time. I mean, the temperatures are 54 degrees and all that. And
the National Weather Service was forecasting a brown Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, which, it's not a white Christmas, but anyway.
Sunday.
Well, not to make it too sad, because there are still holiday things going on. So I wanted to ask, favorite holiday movie, Drew? Do you have one?
I'm a classic. I love A Christmas Story.
Okay.
I have to watch it every year. But I'm torn. Every year when we put up the tree, it's Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
And that plays on loop until the house is decorated. So we may see it 3 or 4 times in a row.
We had the Christmas Vacation advent calendar this year at our house, and so it was different little figurines from Christmas Vacation. So the kids enjoyed that. We're still waiting to see what the last couple are. So I think part of Cousin Eddie's RV's in there. So we still got to wait for the other piece.
You didn't get the Cocoa Melon one? Are your kids outgrown of the Cocoa Melon?
I think we're past Cocoa Melon now. So
we had to do the Cocoa Melon.
You are right in the Cocoa Melon trenches.
Right in those trenches.
Yeah. Ben, Christmas movie, holiday movie?
I got to go with Die Hard.
Oh.
Yeah, it is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
And I also like Polar Express.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the one we watch a lot too.
Which
version?
Huh?
Which version?
The first one that came out.
The original?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually kind of a Christmas Eve one around our house, the Polar Express. How about you, Sarah?
So I love the Santa Claus, like the Tim Allen Santa Claus. And then, there's like the 2 and the 3, but the original one is so good. I just love it. But as the female in the room, the Hallmark movie channel, like you can't go wrong with Hallmark this time of year. It's a 24/7 loop of Christmas movies.
There was a Chiefs Christmas movie I saw this year. Did you watch that one yet?
I did watch that and I was really disappointed. Sorry, Hallmark.
Oh, no.
Go ahead and cut that out.
Did
you watch it?
No, I saw it was a thing. So
it is a thing, and now there's like an extra cuts of it. I don't know. It's real cheesy. It's a classic Hallmark. I just thought it was going to be.
Supposed to be.
It is what it's supposed to be.
Does the guy get the girl?
The guy gets the girl,
it's amazing.
and maybe because I thought it was going to be more like T Swift, Travis Kelce love story, and it wasn't that. It was. Wah, wah. It's fine.
Okay.
But I'm not a T Swift fan, so I don't know why I thought it would be like that.
We appreciate the movie review, though.
Right.
Just in case people were listening and wanted to know.
If anyone wants to know, please watch it and make your own judgment calls.
Okay.
It's
Sounds
fine.
good. I like Christmas Vacation. I'm even an older classic one. I like It's a Wonderful Life. That one.
yeah.
That one, we were watching part of that one last night. So, yeah, that one gets me every year. I like that one. But any foods you're looking forward to, Drew, other than rosettes?
All the Christmas foods, but traditionally we do Thanksgiving, turkey for Thanksgiving, and ham for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then prime rib on New Year's. So
Oh, nice.
I'm doing a little pulled ham this year.
Oh.
You treat it like a pulled pork, except it's ham.
Yeah.
And I've been cooking ham for 47 years, and then I discovered this recipe, and I don't think I can cook ham any other way ever again.
So you still low and slow.
Low and slow.
Okay.
Yeah, you smoke it just like a pork shoulder. You just put it on 250 till it hits a 165, and then you wrap it like you do kind of a rib or a pork shoulder, and then once it's 203, take it off and let it set for an hour. Bone pulls out, shreds apart, delicious, juicy.
Wow.
Shreds like pulled pork?
Just like pulled pork. It is amazing.
Didn't know you were going to get recipe tips today.
No,
Ben.
I didn't. I needed to. I'll have to watch and write it down.
I was like, you're in charge for next year. You didn't want to do honey bake, but you could do that.
Any you're looking forward to, Ben?
Oh, you know what? We usually have prime rib on Christmas, so that's
Okay.
one of the good things on that. Yeah.
Sarah?
Yeah. So this year we're going back to traditional ham for our big dinner, but we always rotate it up. Like sometimes we do soup, sometimes we do like an Italian fest. It's really just all the food coming together and being delicious. But we also do a lot of. I love baking, so
Sure.
we had like a big baking day, and so I have so many cookies and sweets.
Yeah, I think the kids are out of school. I think my wife and the kids are doing baking today, so I will
And
have.
that's why you're here.
I'll have more sugar probably awaiting me when I
All
get
over
home.
the house.
Yeah, everywhere.
The dog will clean that up. It's fine.
Yeah. Charlie's got it. It's fine. We're doing we do beef tenderloin. Have you had beef tenderloin? Beef tenderloin's really good, and it's kind of like a take on prime rib, but just a little different. We usually do like a sauce thing. I started a while back, and I found this Weber recipe for it. Man, it's really really good. The Weber Grill recipe book. Hey, I'm Captain John Vick with the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. When it comes to your career, don't settle for good enough. Don't settle for ordinary. We won't either. Be different, be better, be exceptional. Start your future today at joinlso.com. Drew, we wanted to bring you on and talk. Drones has been in the news lately.
Has it? I hadn't really paid attention.
Oh, really? Yeah, you haven't had any flying over your house other than maybe some of your work issued stuff?
No, not that I've noticed.
Well, we can get back to the various theories on that, but we do have a very real drone team at the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. UAS, Unmanned Aerial Systems, Sarah.
Thank you.
Magic decoder ring for the acronym on that. So why do we have a UAS team, Drew? What do we get out of that?
Oh, I think that's just part of the technology we like to use at our office, and that's a technology that we can utilize in various different roles. We can do overwatch just for safety and making sure that we're protecting a scene, and we can look for endangered or missing persons. We've had several people with dementia that we've found, kids that have ventured out, especially with the foliage in the fields we have in Lancaster County. It gets it kind of hard to see from the ground, and we can use them in tactical operations. We do them in crime scene, crash reconstruction. They really have a variety of endless options for us, and it's just an extra tool that we can do that we don't have to put a person out there, and then it also documents our scene. We use it for evidence recovery and for testimony, and especially in crash scenes when you have a drone depiction of the scene, it makes it a lot easier to see exactly what has happened and how it happened, and over the course of the area, it gets a little complicated sometimes, and I think most everybody has grown up in the generation that, if you see it on TV, it's a little bit more believable. So if we put it in an electronic format that most everybody's comfortable with, then it becomes a little bit easier to understand and comprehend.
And we've got 3 pilots now?
3 pilots, including myself, yeah.
So you became a pilot, a couple of years ago now?
Well, probably the end of 2021, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you're tied to that. I mean, originally it was we were wanting to get one for the crash team because we do use them to document crash scenes. Pretty easy to get we've done, all the way from, the tape measure way, went to a total station, 3D scanner, which still use 3D scanners for scenes, and that's a really helpful tool. But now adding the UAS, the drones, almost gives us a 4th dimension.
Almost, yep.
A little bit.
And with the scanners, the limitation is if it can't see it, it can't document it. So we had an officer-involved shooting case that we did with the scanner, and we noticed we had a lot of treetops that were missing and roofs were missing, and it really was confusing for the jury. So if you can bring that drone footage in there and overlap it or overlay it, it kind of just completes that picture. So it makes it a little bit more easy to understand and see.
So what did you have to do to become a pilot?
There's a variety of online training. I mean, everybody kind of gets there on their own, but part of our requirements here at the Sheriff's Office that to be a drone pilot and on the drone team is you have to have your Part 107 license through the FAA.
Well, and so with a lot of this stuff in the news, this isn't like we go to the Sears catalog and just order a drone and send people out to fly it. I mean, it's pretty structured and pretty comprehensive exams that you guys take to get that Part 107 license.
Yep.
And you also went to, I think, a public safety course above and beyond Part 107.
Yeah, all of our pilots are members of the Law Enforcement Drone Association, so they provide yearly annual training throughout the nation. And I was fortunate enough to go to Nashville for mine, but and they cover a variety of topics. A lot of it case law, what we can and legally can't do with the drone, tactics. There's a couple courses we had to fly to become NIST certified. So it hones in our skills, be able to manipulate the controls in different areas and make the drone do things that most people wouldn't think it could do, but you can actually do. It really helps us for the indoor tactical applications because when you're outside flying, you've got trees and wires and there's some obstructions, but when you're inside of a house or a building, that greatly amplifies your skills to be able to do that and do it efficiently and effectively.
Ben, I think that was one of the. I mean, we knew that this was going to be beneficial technology for us, but I think the aha moment was on one of those indoor deployments.
Yeah, it more than likely kept us from being involved in an officer-involved shooting and getting one of our deputies hurt. And we've used canines in those. We have robots that we use. It seems each one of them have its positives,
Yeah.
and each of them have their limitations. And so we use all of those just depending on what the situation is. But yeah, that specific one, yeah, we got eyes on and could see what was going inside, and it prevented us from pushing the subject and forcing entry into a bedroom where there was going to be more than likely a gunfight.
Yeah, because we saw that the drone was able to see a weapon.
Yes, in his hand.
That was in his hand, and yeah, that I know we were kind of waiting for that case that was like, oh, this is why we do this, and that was definitely a big step in that direction. I think opened a lot of eyes.
Yeah.
On the safety factor.
Yeah, we were one of the first ones to start utilizing that as much as we do. And right now, the operators are on call for tactical calls, and they get the message as soon as all the tactical response unit people do, because we use them so much. And we wanted somebody who was not involved in TRU, because then you lose a operator, and just having somebody there that's their only job seems to be very helpful for that. And also, we were talking about crash scenes and crime scenes. It helps so much when the scene is big, because out in the county, there's sometimes these scenes go a long ways, and the scanner isn't able to get everything, and it takes a long time. And you can do a lot with that drone and get that scene documented.
We had Larry Russell on a while back. He talked about back when we had a helicopter, and there's costs that are involved in that. And the State Patrol's still a credible partner. We've got tactical flight officers that help out with that program. But there's a lot of money that goes into, manned aircraft. And so, Drew, this is something that we get a lot of bang for our buck, value-wise.
Oh, absolutely.
Just we're not putting fuel into these things. We're recharging batteries.
Yep.
And, it's something we have to manage, but a lot lower cost footprint than the alternative, especially when we're covering 846 square miles in Lancaster County. Talk a little bit about the type of aircraft that we use.
So we have really focused on two different platforms. We have an exterior platform for reconnaissance, evidence recovery, locating suspects, those sorts of things. And those are our DJI Mavic 3Ts, and the T stands for thermal. So we have a camera on it. We can zoom in, but we also have the thermal capabilities. So like on weather like today, it really works well for us because the differentiation between the ambient temperature and either suspect or victim temperature, we're able to locate those people, especially through some foliage. And then our indoor tactical option is we have the DJI Avatas, which is a very much smaller platform, and I can fly through basically a 10-inch square. So as long as I got a 10 by 10 square, I can put that thing through there. We've flown them under bus seats, through holes in windows, through pretty much any part of the building that you can get to. They have enough oomph to them that if we have a door that's maybe shut but not latched, we can push doors open with it. It's kind of a force multiplier, if you will, too, because it's a quad rotor, meaning it has 4 rotors on it. So when you're flying indoors, it's very loud. It's obviously a distraction to whoever's in there. So definitely we can tell usually who's in the building and who our players are and aren't very easily.
What impact, there's been discussion in the media about foreign-owned companies. So DJI technology is specifically from China.
Yep.
So why do we use that?
I mean, the short answer to that is because they've been around forever and they've honed their craft.
Well, it's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're affordable. They're easy to fly. There's a lot of different aftermarket options for them. The software's reliable. The drones are reliable. They're very affordable for taxpayer dollars, and they have great camera capabilities, and they're tested and tried.
And unfortunately, there's not really like a cost-effective alternative.
No,
that's made
not.
Domestically.
No, when you start getting into aircraft that's made outside of China, you're 10 times the price of what the Chinese drones are.
Yeah. So it's kind of a delicate walk of balancing, what we can get operationally at a price that makes sense, but also not compromising, security risks. I think there's been some state statute changes regarding that, right?
Yeah, in 2023, the legislature here in Nebraska issued the LB 1300, which later turned into statute under 73901 to 73907, and it's under the Foreign Adversary Contracting Prohibition Act.
Yeah.
And it's on law now that restricts us from purchasing anything made in what they deem to be adversarial countries, and China being one of those.
So what does that mean for the future of our program?
Honestly, I don't know what it means. I just know right now it's going to make it very difficult for us to buy those drones and to service those drones.
Yeah.
And from a taxpayer standpoint, it's really kind of a burden because I understand they're from China, but they're cheap, they're affordable, they perform well, and the next our outdoor drone options are between $5,000 and $7,000, and the complete package we have with batteries, charging cases, spare parts, those sorts of things. We're looking between $5,000 and $7,000 for an equivalent. An American drone, you're already up to $30,000 to $50,000. Most American drones don't allow you to purchase the drones; you just lease the drones, and then you have a yearly fee. So it makes it very unaffordable for the taxpayer, and I think necessarily doesn't do a service to the residents of Lancaster County.
So kind of a wait and see
Yes.
thing for now.
I think they're understanding that law enforcement was left out of the discussions when the bills were being produced. There was some public, not public safety, but public power. Some of those got some carved out exceptions because they do fly drones for power lines and windmills and that kind of stuff. So they understood that they needed to carve out. But I think once they figure out the impact they're having on public safety, because it's not just law enforcement, fire, Parks and Rec. There's a lot of people that use these drones effectively and efficiently that are being held to this bill, and it's going to be a big disservice going forward if they don't carve out some exceptions.
Well, and Ben, there's different places in the country doing different things, but some pretty forward-thinking stuff. I mean, there's another acronym, DFR, Sarah. Drone is a first responder.
Oh,
but
that's one I didn't know either.
But there are agencies that are starting to use these now as really just getting your first look at
getting eyes on
the scene. And so, I've got a colleague in further west that they're like docks, and they're charging docks. They have them like on the top of a building. And now this is more of a municipal application, so I don't know how we would do it with a county-sized jurisdiction, but they essentially dispatch them. That's just automated, and so as soon as a call comes in, it's tied into their computer-aided dispatch CAD system, and it deploys the drone, whether it's either automated or a pilot manually flying it to the location of the call, and then they can give those officers that are responding an initial scene assessment. Pretty crazy stuff.
That's pretty awesome.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where the future goes, and legislature changes, statute changes, technology changes. We'll just have to play it by ear.
Yeah, I've been doing this 31 years, and if you'd have told me back when I started all the things we would be doing with technology and the computers and all the ways we are fighting crime, I don't think I'd have believed you.
Drew, inquiring minds want to know, have you ever flown a drone over New Jersey?
I have not. Never, not once.
Ben, you've done polygraphs for a while. Do you believe him?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. So what do you think? What's your take? Being in the drone space, what do you think? What are we looking at here?
The stuff in New Jersey?
Yeah. Is this a problem?
I don't know if it's necessarily a problem. I just don't understand, or I don't think people understand the amount of uses that drones have. I mean, a lot of municipalities are using drones to map their jurisdictions for traffic flow, for utilities, power, water, a lot of things. And the unfortunate part is it's safer to fly at night. The FAA has carved out exceptions to allow us to do that now, or pilots to fly their drones at night. I do believe it's probably a lot safer. There's less people out at night, so it's a piece of technology like anything else. It can fail. And if it fails and it lands anywhere that's populated, you have a risk of injury to the public. So it is safer to fly at night. What they're doing, I'm not going to speculate, but there are a lot of legal justifiable purposes or uses for these drones to be flying at night over areas for a variety of reasons that are not conspiracy theory type things.
Well, and Ben, we were talking. There's I think over 1 million registered drones.
Yes.
With the FAA in the United States. That's according to Homeland Security and the FAA, kind of a joint statement that they put out. But those are just the ones that are registered.
Right.
So you're Part 107 qualified. So we have registered drones. They're on paper with the FAA, but there's also hobbyists and people that fly recreationally. So if people are opening up a drone and they're under the Christmas tree coming up here in a couple of days, you don't necessarily have to register that.
No, you don't.
There's rules, obviously, that you only want you to follow, but the reality is that there's just a lot of stinking drones out there now.
Yes.
Ben, we worked a football game, or maybe it was the volleyball game. Well, they've had them at football games too, but they're doing drone shows now at the University of Nebraska. I mean, just wild stuff.
Amazing.
That with hundreds of drones that are flying up in the sky and making actual 3D art, crazy stuff. So we'll see.
I think some of the issue is nobody's saying anything what it is, and it probably might put a damper on everybody's fear if somebody would just come out and just say, hey, this is what's going on. But again, I don't want to speculate on what's happening.
Whether it's government or private, let's just, what do you got? But there could be some misidentification too. Especially spatially, it's hard to recognize things in the dark when you got lights blinking and everything else. So who knows?
Yeah, some of the federal agencies gone out and did investigations, and one of the bad drones was a star.
Right.
It just people do miss. Not always right, and some of it's helicopters, and some of them are planes, and just different things. And there's satellites that are out there moving a lot too that people can see. So there's
But the reality is that as far as state and local law enforcement, though, there's not a ton that we can do about them. I mean, if there was I don't want to say maybe nefarious is the wrong word, but if we had a
drone sighting in Lancaster County, what would we do?
Well, I mean, okay, Drew, there's different levels of airspace restriction that you guys have to fly in. But if somebody's violating that airspace and the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office gets a call about it, what are our options?
Well, we would refer them to the FAA because the FAA controls the airspace. And if there's someone flying in an unauthorized airspace, that would be their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the jurisdiction to do anything about that. We would assist them if they need, if they identify the pilot or a little thing that a lot of people don't realize is in the last couple of years, every drone produced and basically registered through the FAA has to be remote ID compliant. And every drone has a remote ID that transmits a signal that identifies where the pilot is and who the pilot is when that drone is in its airspace. So there are a lot of ways to find that. That information is out there. That's why I'm not too concerned about the stuff that's flying over cities because they know who it is. They know what they're doing. It may not be something that they want to report because it really has no public interest at all. And if there were any public interest, the government would be very much aware of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But also fair to say that the technology is evolving quickly. And like a lot of things in government, sometimes we're
not the quickest all the time.
Maybe we're slower than what would be ideal to respond.
No, and I think that's the private market has always controlled the technology, and there's a lot of private sectors that want to maintain their assets to be secret. So there is technology out there that allows someone to identify what drone is in the air and take control of that if it is causing a public safety issue or in private property, a privacy issue. And there are companies that you can hire that will do anti-drone mitigation. And if you have that problem, they're the type of people that will take care of it for you. They can take over control of that drone and land it safely and then identify who's the pilot and who the drone belongs to. And that's reported to the FAA and an investigation is conducted. And if there's anything that violates the FAA rules and regulations, then they're held accountable. I can tell you that if you violate any of the FAA rules, the fines are fairly healthy.
Okay.
Very healthy.
Wild stuff.
If you want a challenging career, a career where you can make a difference in your life, your family's life, and the lives of those in your community, come and join the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. To learn more or to apply, visit us online at www.joinlso.com.
Sarah, we've got some hiring news.
We do have hiring news.
And we're excited to start the new year. We did an episode here, I don't know, a few weeks back that we were looking for a PIO.
Yes.
Public Information Officer.
Public Information Officer. It's surprising how many people don't know what that is. Like, I felt like that was like a common term, but as we advertise for it, people are like, what? What are you doing?
Right.
So, yeah, we have hired someone.
Yes.
They will be starting the first of the new year, and so we're very excited to get them in here, learn about LSO and our culture, and then be able to share all of the good, bad, and ugly things that we do, because there are some good things, and I think a lot of times we default to the maybe not so great things. So
well, definitely, yeah, we're looking forward to having somebody else on the team, just, on the communications team, but also just the bigger picture sheriff's office team. So we will introduce them. That's a little tease for next year.
Yeah.
But we'll have to have them on and get to know them a little bit better. So what other hiring stuff? You guys just had a merit commission meeting this morning.
Yes.
And deputy vacancies right now, are we still a couple short, or we're just anticipating retirements?
Well, right now we are 3 for sure that are open and we can hire for. We do have a deputy who is going to go to the marshals here in January, so we'll have that opening. And then on May 26th, Sergeant Brent Moore will be retiring, so we'll have that at that position also. And usually there's always a surprise someplace, and Deputy Johnson was kind of that surprise on this one. You just when you lose them, but happy for him. It's a good career move for him, and we wish him the best.
Yeah, well, and it's a cycle. I mean, gosh, Drew, when you and I started that line of work, I mean, it was kind of a once a year undertaking, big lift. But now we're doing monthly hiring processes for deputy.
Yes.
And so the next one will start in January, you said.
Yep. So we run a hiring cycle that starts the first of the month and runs till the end of the month, and then that list of applicants will have usually the first weekend of the following month some written and physical testing. We've changed and adapted our hiring process a lot in the last 4 years. It really went from a standard once a year, every 18-month kind of thing, where everybody had to take a written test, everybody had to take a physical test. It didn't matter if you were certified or not. And then we had a list of applicants, and we would have 2 or 3 maybe over those year to 18 months that retired or left for another agency or did something else with their life. And now I think things are changing. The workforce is changing. People don't stay in careers as long as they used to. So we've adapted that to be every month. We test every month. If you have taken the TABE test at any other agency nationwide, all I need is your scores and the location and who proctored that test, and we'll take those, and you don't have to retest. If you are certified, you don't have to come to our physical testing, because the state standards in Nebraska, once you are a certified officer, there is no continuing physical standard. But if you're not certified, then you would come to our testing, our physical testing. We model the PRET, and it's on the kind of the Cooper standard, and our joinlso.com website will direct you to all of what those standards are. And if you make it through that process of either taking the written or giving us your scores from somewhere else, you can take the physical. And if you pass that, you move on to an oral board. And that oral board is just some questions related to our core values, because, I mean, we can teach you how to shoot a gun, and we can teach you how to drive a car and write a report, but we can't teach you how to be an ethical person. We can't teach you to have fairly good communication skills. You have to be able to work well with others, understand a lot of different cultures and demographics and backgrounds. And so it's more slated towards our core values. Do you have the ability to have integrity, honesty, communication, those sorts of things? And if you answer well enough on those questions, and you get ranked in a list of 1 to however many applicants we have that month, and that moves on to the Merit Commission, and they certify that list. And once that list is certified, then we can go on and start doing the background investigations. And right now, currently, we won't have anybody in the January Academy because the deadline's come and gone, but we will compile that list of applicants over time. And working with our partners in the Lincoln Police Department, we'll hopefully have some people available for the July Academy. So they're here at home in bed every night. We get to see them every day. We get our instructors and along with the LPD's instructors to work with them throughout the 22 weeks that they're there. And then when they graduate, they go into our FTO program. So hopefully we'll still be able to use Grand Island if they're available. But we have several options now that hopefully give some resources to people that are graduating in May. That would be a great time for them to apply now so that they're available and ready for that July Academy. And for those people that are certified or really want to get their foot in the door now, please apply. We're open till the 31st, and once that closes, it opens again January 1. And we have the option of maybe sending a couple of people to Grand Island in April if that's something that works for somebody. So we're just trying to be as open and available for as many situations as there are out there.
Yeah, never been easier. JoinLSO.com. A lot of different ways to get folks here, and we just we need that next generation to step up, lead the future.
Lead the future,
right?
Well, we just had 4 of them graduate just last week from the Lincoln Police Department's Academy, and we had one graduate from Grand Island, Nebraska Academy out there. And so we got...
Yeah, our field training officers are going to be busy.
Yes, I think they have 6 of them in there right now. I think we have 6 field training officers. So, they're going to be busy. But as you can see when we're talking here, 22 weeks... is a long time. You only get 2 academies, and so it takes a long time to get somebody trained up and in the cruiser doing the job, and it's over a year sometimes on once they apply, and that just makes it really difficult once to keep your manpower up because you're fighting it all year round.
Yeah, well. We have had some also come through, and complete FTO recently. We had 4 folks in a badging ceremony last week before?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. And we just had 2 others graduate here in the last 2 weeks. That wheel keeps on turning. And it's going to continue to over the next year or so. Great time to become a deputy if you want. But we also have civilian positions. Sarah, you guys are working through a technology manager spot right now.
Yeah, our technology manager retired the end of October. So we opened that up and got some really good qualified applicants for that. And so we are working through that process. They will have an in-person interview on January 9th with some people. So that'll be exciting. And then hopefully soon after that, we'll get them through backgrounds and started here. So we got a lot of big tech projects coming. I mean, drones is just kind of a little chunk of what they get to do. And so we got to make sure they're ready to take on that feat. So,
well, and, Ben, we've got a lot of retirees that still listen to the show. They try to keep up on what's happening along with just people in the community that are interested in what we do. We just started testing some new radios as well.
We did. And the exciting parts of these is their capabilities. So if on the normal system on the towers isn't working, that it can go to a cell.
Yep.
And then also has Wi-Fi's capabilities. So we've had some issues in some schools where I think everybody knows that.
Just in the buildings make it hard for the.
Makes it hard. So this will improve all that, and so we're excited about that. We have our Axon program with the body cameras in cars and tasers and all that coming up. So whoever gets this job is going to be busy here really quick. So we're excited about all that. And, all this stuff, 1, helps us do our job, and 2, makes us, be transparent. And that's what we always want to be. And I know the cameras, when they first came out, deputies like, oh, no, they're, everybody's going to know what I'm doing, all that. And I'm just amazed most of them don't even want to go out without them because it protects them so much of what actually is happening. And I'd say 99.9% of the time, it shows that the deputy was doing what they were supposed to be doing.
For sure. Well, is that about wrap us up? Bring us up to speed for today?
I think so.
Well, any closing holiday thoughts, Sarah?
Nope. Everyone stay safe this holiday season.
Yeah.
Drive sober, wear your seatbelt.
Yes.
And enjoy time with loved ones and friends and family. It's a kind of a magical time.
That's what it's all about, Chief.
Yeah, this time of year, having kids around and doing that, it's always great to see the sparkle in their eyes and do that. And just wish everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or whatever you work at and believe in, and just stay safe.
Yeah, well said. With that, thanks everybody for listening to the 902 podcast today. I want to encourage everybody to apply at joinlso.com if you're interested in becoming a deputy or have questions about career opportunities at the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. You can also subscribe to the 902 podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts to catch all of our episodes. And if you're on there, do us a favor, drop a review, send us a comment. We definitely like to interact with our audience and know who's listening to us out there. And if you have a suggestion for a future episode, you have questions, you can reach out to us on social media at LSO Nebraska. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all over the place. And you can also send us an email, lso@lancaster.ne.gov. Everybody have a very, very Merry Christmas, a safe holidays, and we will catch you next time on the 902 podcast.